am Deidre Quinn, and welcome to Pending and Trending, a podcast that started in real estate and grew into so much more. Here, we talk about the power of building wealth, creating opportunities, and designing a life that lasts for generations. With expert guests and real conversations, my mission is simple: to help you elevate your journey and build the legacy you deserve. David Gibbs is a money and career coach based in Tennessee, recognized for becoming completely debt-free in 2017 and transforming that success into a full-time coaching career. He has since guided numerous clients in achieving financial stability, advancing their careers, and creating value-driven financial plans. In addition to individual coaching, David trains new financial coaches and collaborates with organizations to develop employee financial wellness programs, promoting sustainable money management and career fulfillment. Thanks for joining us today. I'm happy to be with you here today, David. So let's talk about now. You are credited for becoming completely debt-free in 2017 and transforming that success into a full-time career. Just tell us a little bit about that so our listeners can understand where you're coming from.
Oh, my wife and I, when I was actually just talking to a young man today about this because he's getting ready to get married. And I was like, back in the day, I was a nut. I've always been a nut about getting right with our finances. I grew up in a home where there was not a lot of financial education going on. And so I just knew that I didn't want that. There were some bankruptcies. My childhood home was lost. I'm like, I just don't want that. And so my wife and I, when we got married and I was a nut, I was just like, all right, babe, no hair and makeup unless it's Christmas or your birthday because we're getting out of debt. Now, I had a lot to learn. Somehow I survived my first year of marriage, and she still likes me to this day. But we had to work on working together. But yeah, it took us about 3.5 years. We had student loans, we had car payments, we had all the things. And a month before our firstborn was born in 2017, we accomplished the task of being debt-free and have been debt-free ever since.
Wow, congratulations. That's an amazing accomplishment. It's amazing what motivates us in our life, right? So you knew what you didn't want and you went after that. So kudos to you for that.
That's interesting that you bring up that motivation piece because knowing what I didn't want, that was the beginning. And it wasn't good enough. It wasn't a good enough piece to have real strong motivation, but I didn't have a coach back then. And I was making it up as I went along. But this is something I've been working on a lot with my clients. And just, I've been doing this for 7 years now. So I've learned a lot. And I've realized, especially this year, that a lot of folks, they don't think they're needed, for one. They wouldn't even know what to do with freedom and debt freedom if they had it. If it hit them over the head today, all they would know is, oh, I'm just less stressed. And that's not purposeful. So what I've been really working on a lot with my clients is finding true motivation of what is their purpose in life so that they're fighting for something. And I had to find that for myself as well, because on those days when you're tired and you don't want to cook and you just want to go out, you have to have something that's stronger than just, oh, I just want to be less stressed to get you through those times.
Yeah, that is really correct. You need that purpose, you need that motivation, you need that why. So when you say you're completely debt-free, does that mean you don't have any mortgages? You have everything that you do is paid for? How is that? How do you structure that, and how do you advise your clients to structure that?
Yeah, if I were to get technical, it's consumer debt-free. So yes, I do have a mortgage. Working on it though. Working on it.
Okay.
We're about to get below the 200,000 mark, so I'm very excited about it.
Nice.
And then I was actually just telling my wife last night, watch out for me, because I can be impatient. And I did the same thing when we were on our first debt-free journey of watch out if it gets below 100 when I see that 99, because then it's like there's blood in the water and I'm a shark and I'll be like, I'll do anything, like working too much to get it done. But that's how I do that for myself. But the structure of it goes to that motivation and purpose piece. It's what do you want for your life? What is your desired future? When you wake up in the morning, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you smell? I always go through those exercises with my clients as well so that they can visualize what they actually want.
That's great. So why do so many people live in debt? If you think about it, it's the American way, right? So why do they live in debt? And You mentioned helping them find their purpose. What are the first steps to helping them unpack that and getting them on a road to financial discipline, I guess we'll call it?
It seems it's sad because truly, in the history of the world, it hasn't been that long since that darn diner's card came out. The first credit card was a diner's card, right? And so it's been 75 years or so. And so it makes me sad that people say the American way now, this is still pretty new where we're at right now. And I'm hoping to help folks change it. But I think the biggest issue is we've had a huge lack of financial education, even not being that much in high school anymore, where trying to catch kids before they go out, before they go spend it, to help them realize that it's hard to pay off large amounts of debt. When you get yourself into over $100,000 in student loan debts, for example, that's been the big thing over the past 20 years. And when I grew up, my grandpa, he was very big on everybody getting a financial education. If he had a hint that one of his grandkids wasn't going to go to college, he would get dinner with you, take you out to dinner, and then tell you why you should go. And unfortunately, that has caused a lot of my cousins, folks in my family, where things didn't go well for them. They didn't know what to do. They got into debt. And it was so when I'm looking at my clients, that's been, especially in my generation, that's been the big challenge because the good idea of college all of a sudden changed. It just changed on everybody where, oh yeah, of course you're going to get the ROI and you get the money back, but that's not the case anymore. Now everybody has a college degree and they're working at Starbucks. And so it changed. So I'm dealing a lot with clients in that arena and helping them try and figure out what is my actual purpose in life. Because another big thing is we also have degrees in a bunch of stuff we're not doing. My degree's in criminal justice. I thought I was going to be a cop. And then it was like, oh, I don't actually like this at all. Oh, well, I have a degree. Woo. And so I have to work on that. And then another big thing that I think gets folks stuck is we're one of the most marketed to societies in the world. There's a lot of issues with boundaries. So the parents of my generation, the millennials, just so you know, the parents of my generation, their issue is there's no boundaries. The kids are staying with them forever. They don't say no. And that's so generation by generation, we all have our issues, and there will always be different issues for every generation. The newest one, do you know the newest generation's name?
Tell me.
Oh, it's Alpha. Generation
Alpha, right.
One. And what I always poke people at is they always say things were better, this and that. Now, every generation has their problems. The next one will come up with something new, and we'll keep working on it.
Yeah, no, that is true. And it does amaze me that whether you're in college or in high school, there's very little financial education in any of our education systems, which is very interesting. Now, I do think that some states are implementing.
Yeah, they're getting there. Yeah.
So hopefully that will change as the generations continue.
If I have my way, and I'm teaching my boys, so.
There you go. There you go. So let's talk a little bit about how the mindset has to shift. And you talked a little bit about the different generations and how that works. What kind of mindset shifts are needed to help people break free from debt and live with intention?
Yeah. When it's the first step in knowing what you're actually built for and what you want to do. When I was in the middle of my debt-free journey, there was a lot of white knuckling, like, I just got to say no. I got to say no, but I didn't know why exactly. So we need that. And I'll never forget, I saw a big fire on TV. And I was like, man, I want to go. I want to fill a truck with some water, go help until it's done. But I'm stuck because I have to work this job, because I have to pay that. So that was a big deal for me. And it really brought that to mind of, wow, I need to really think on this. What am I fighting for? What am I feeling called for? How do I want to be the hands and feet of Jesus out there and do some things to help people? And so that goes back to what I was saying earlier, where folks don't know that they're needed. They don't think that they're needed. They don't realize how much they are. So I really try to unlock that career and money with my clients, that there is a life beyond this. It's not just, so many folks have gotten caught up in not working. I just want to be done with retirement, have enough money so I can not do anything. And that's not actually true. So many folks, they think that way because they're working where they don't want to work. They're doing what they don't want to do. They don't think what they bring to the table is special, and they don't even know what to do with it. So I'd really try to unlock what people are actually built for and show them, hey, your talents and abilities, I don't have them. I need you because I can't do everything myself. I'm not good at this. I'm not good at this. I'm better at this. I'm better at this. And so breaking that out and getting folks out is super helpful in having the motivation and the strength and the mindset shift of, oh, I'm going to build my life towards this goal because I want to help my community and the world in this specific way that only I can do. And so if we can unlock that and help folks find that, it's a lot more fun. Budgets, they become, instead of, oh, I got to do my budget or my coach is going to be mad at me. No, it's a brick now building the life that you want. And that's a lot more exciting to do
Yeah,
it.
no, it is. And I agree with you on the retirement thing, going back to that a little bit. If you think about it, I can't imagine retirement, right? You have to, and maybe you retire from one thing, but then maybe it's building something else, or maybe it's doing something down another avenue that you've always wanted to do. So I love that. And then you mentioned a budget. So let's talk about creating a budget and why that's so important. And that's something some of our listeners can do really right away to implement right after this call to make a change in their life. So let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. What do you want to know? I could preach all day about budgets.
So if one of our listeners says, okay, you know what, I just listened to this podcast and I have to create this budget. I keep my credit cards are racking up. I have student loans. I have all these things and they just keep racking up interest. How do you recommend they go about creating a budget? What should get paid first? Or what's your coaching method on that for the first things that they should do?
Yeah. The first thing is we have to take care of housing, clothing, food. And on the other side of that is we have to create focus. So to be able to take care of everything you need to take care of, you want to do it well. So many folks that I run into, they get caught up in where we're just trying to pay everything and do everything at the same time. And then we're just barely touching. Sometimes it's just interest on everybody and you're not paying off any principal or getting anything done.
All right.
And so what I focus on first is, take care of yourself. Make sure there's food. Make sure your mortgage or your rent is paid. That's what you have to do first. And then what you want to do is you look at, okay, I have my income here and I'm working my way down and we're only going to go as long as the income lasts.
Right.
Okay, so depending on your situation, if there is no margin in your budget, that's a problem. That's something we need to work on. So the next step there is focusing on, I help folks do the snowball method. So focusing on the smallest amount of debt first, knock that out, and then pretending it's still there, moving to the next one. But within all that, I'm big on margins. So sell all that's sellable and then work as much as you can to try and start breaking things down. And one thing that as folks start to get healthier, what I want them to do as well is have a mindset shift in how you're going about your life. I always say the rich ask how much and the poor ask how much a month. And so start to change that to where, okay, like for example, Disney Plus came out years ago. And I knew I had little guys. They're 6 and 8 now, but I knew I've got little guys. And yes, of course, I watch it myself a bunch. But I knew I was going to want it.
Yeah.
And so there was this deal that you could buy the thing for 3 years. So I was like, I'm going to buy it. So when it got to that 3-year part, that had risen, of course, because Disney's going to keep raising that prices. It had risen to $7, $8 a month. And mine, if I had broken mine up across those 3 years, I was only paying $2 a month. So if you start with the little things like that, you're going to end up with more money at the end of the year. And if you do it in every aspect of your life, you're going to end up with more money at the end of the year. And it's really, the monthly payment is a poor tax. It's taking away your margin. You're ending up spending more money than everybody else. So being able to have the money and the margin built in to be able to do that's going to make your life easier. Another great example is car insurance. Just last year, I saved $500 just paying for my car insurance for the year versus paying it month to month. And of course, this is different with insurances and subscriptions, but always take a look, everybody. It's probably there's going to be savings if you just pay for the thing instead of getting on month-to-month payments.
Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of insurance companies do that. Although, do you think you run a risk of then having a whole lot of subscriptions sometimes that perhaps you don't use and then you forget they auto renew? Do you see that? And do you help people focus on making sure that they know when the subscription ends so they don't end up getting charged? I know I have like internet bills and cable bills and whatever, and then all of a sudden they're double in price. And if you're not really paying attention, you're paying a lot more.
Yeah. I'm always training my clients to be proactive instead of reactive. So whenever I do anything myself, when it comes to those yearly things, I put it on the calendar. Okay, how much ahead of time would I like to be prepared for this? Depending on how much it is, I actually even break things up within my yearly budget. For Christmas, for birthdays, for things that I know are coming, I break it up. I'm saving up for Christmas in January of every year.
Right. Yeah.
At the end of December each year, my wife and I, it's contagious.
It,
At the end of December,
I'm holding it in.
you were like, oh, he did it first. I'll do
I
it.
know I'm holding it in. I'm like, don't. I'll have to have him cut it there.
Yeah, end of the year every year, my wife and I talk about what did we like from this year? Did we have enough money for this? Are we well set? Okay, let's shift some things. Let's make a plan. And I'll tell you, it is so nice right now knowing it's in November now. I know that I'm about to go and I've got my Christmas money already set up. It's already done.
That's
And
great.
so that makes Christmas a lot more fun instead of what I used to do, which is relying on, I hope I get that third paycheck and then I'm just going to use all that for my Christmas gift. We all been there.
You mentioned your wife several times in the conversation. How did you, and it sounds like perhaps it wasn't 100% agreeable in the beginning, how did you get aligned? Because oftentimes partners have different spending habits and different ideas as far as budgeting and what's important. So, how did you align?
Why do you want to get me in trouble? I thought we were friends. To be on the internet forever, and she'll find it. She'll find it. Yeah, we've been married for 11 years this year, just in September, by the way.
Congratulations.
Very proud of that. I don't know how I pulled it off. It probably wasn't me. It was probably just her patience. Like I said in the beginning, it was interesting. I brought a lot of fear to it. Because like I said, growing up, there was big stress in my home. And I'm like, I just don't want that. And it scared me. And I also brought in a chip on my shoulder because it felt like growing up, everyone in my family was just, yep, you just got to get in debt. You have to this. You got to get that student loan. You have to. And that really angered me. I'm like, no, I don't have to do anything but die and pay taxes. Come on.
Yeah.
And so I brought a lot of fear and anger. And what came out of that, and here's a funny story, I'm going to throw myself under the bus, is one of the first budgets we ever made. We made it. We wrote it all down. We discussed everything, right? And wrote it all down. And we were done, right? I walked away. And then my wife goes, oh, I forgot to put something on there. And I'm like, no, it's over. The budget's done.
How did that go?
It didn't go well. She's, that is ridiculous. What are you talking about? Because I was just like, I was so scared. I wanted us to get out of debt so much that I was just, I didn't want to add anything because that would take away the margin that I wanted. Yeah. And so it was a long journey. Right. And it really came to be because we were on the same page. And are you married, Deidre?
I am.
Yeah. I don't know if you've noticed this about your spouse, but my wife and I, we've noticed this more and more, is that we're so aligned that it almost makes it more difficult the longer you've been married because you're so aligned that you just tweak. It's like the tiniest tweak of different. Like sometimes it's almost like we're almost saying exactly the same thing. It's just a little different. Like I wish someone was obviously wrong. That was easier, when they're obviously wrong, but when it's just so close. And so truly patience, talking, communicating. Every single month we did our budget together and we still do to this day. One thing that has been a challenge for us is I'm obviously the guy who loves the finances a little bit more. She's more on the creative side. She's more of the spender. And there have been times when I've been a little too much, and every couple has this. The one couple is more into, who's more zoned in on where the finances are. And so we've had to learn how to navigate that so that she feels a part of it, completely a part of the decision making and knowing what's going on. So it used to be where I'd make it and she would come in and approve it. I always had her approve it and take a look, but that still wasn't quite enough. So nowadays, I actually make a presentation for her, like where are bank accounts? Where is everything at? What's happening? What's and where? And so she gets to look over that, and then we almost like meeting notes before we start. And that has helped a lot. She feels a lot more a part of it, a lot more hands on than she used to feel, and it's helped. But yeah, patience, a lot of fights, a lot of talking, a lot of communicating, and we've gotten there and we feel good now. But I've relaxed and I've said, okay, we can have our goals and we can also have a pillow that I don't know what its use is, but we can have that too.
Congratulations on that. I tend to be the spender these days, so I'm listening here. My husband's going to love listening to this podcast.
Yeah, that's great.
So, what inspired you to move your journey from to actually doing this and coaching others? What inspired you to do that?
Yeah, that's interesting because that's really what brought me to helping other folks in their career because I know, and the theme of my career life has always been I want to help others. So my degree's in criminal justice. I thought it was going to be in the way of being a policeman, but I tried out once and I was like, wow, I don't like this at all. Thank you all for being policemen, but for some reason I just didn't feel it. But I was like, I want to help people. What do I do now? And then I also want to get married. I need a big boy job, and I have a random bachelor's degree now. So I ended up becoming a librarian. And I was a librarian for a few years, and I did really good. Became a regional manager of libraries. I oversaw 6 libraries, but it still wasn't quite right.
Criminal
And
justice and libraries, they go hand in hand, don't they? Like,
something like that. But then it was when we had gotten out of debt. It was during that summer that it was the strangest thing. I kept ending up talking to strangers somehow and sharing with them what my wife and I had just done, that 3.5 year journey of getting out of debt. And they kept crying and saying thank you. And I still get goosebumps to this day. Oh, that's helping people. How do you do that for a job? What's that? And the internet must have been listening because the Ramsey Solutions Financial Coach Master Training kept popping up on my phone. So I took that and then I opened up my own practice in 2018 and have been helping folks ever since, getting them out of debt and all that. But I also loved helping, on the career side of things. When I was a regional manager, I did hiring and firing. I was on the hiring team and all that. And then I'd be talking with folks about their money and then where does money come from? We ended up talking about their career. So like, that's just a natural add-on, money and career, helping folks get to what they are meant to be doing. And then having the financial freedom to make those moves. Because it's no fun when you're wanting an opportunity or to move somewhere, but you can't because you don't have the money for it and you're stuck.
Yeah.
And that's what really drags people down and where they get stuck in their jobs because they can't do the work they want to do because it might take some extra certification or education and they're stuck. So I'm very passionate about both those things. And for me, it's finally, this is what I was meant to be doing, helping people in this way.
That's great. And I just thinking of this, and it ties in hand. I was just at a conference recently, and one of the speakers was saying how many people are behind on their mortgages, even though they have so much equity in their houses right now. And I'm just like listening to all of that, going, wow, like so many people could benefit from your services at this point. Let's talk about it. I have a couple principles here that are in my notes. Building a stronger filter system. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. Truly, your filter system is the foundation of everything that I work with my clients on. It's something that I use as a first step, and I will always call back to it. And it's because truly, at the end of the day, not every step, not every opportunity, not everything that we do is actually good for us. And so the first homework that I give my clients is to, especially, if they have a spouse, is go off, take some time to journal, pray, unplug, whatever you need to do, and write down in high definition what you want your future to look like. And I think I mentioned it earlier, what happens when you wake up in the morning, what do you see, what do you hear, what do you feel? A client of mine, she shared, I want to wake up in the morning, I want to see a goat staring at me through my window, and I want to smell bacon over there, and I want my husband in the yard. So like she visualized what she wanted.
Right.
And then I have folks do the same thing for career. What are your values? Do you want to be home every day? Do you want to work at night? Does that sound fun to you? Like, we're all different and we all want different things. And so if we can get all that together, and then I say with your spouse, make a date out of it, come together and share with each other what you wrote. You might even find out some stuff you haven't thought of in a while or knew about your spouse. Who knows? But what's great about this exercise, and specifically for folks who just start with me, I say let's start with doing this every 3 months, because a lot of folks have been in survival mode for so long that the dream gears are rusted and have cobwebs all over them. So just doing this is sometimes almost impossible for some of my clients because they can't imagine a life that's better. And so I have them do this, and then I say, laminate the darn sucker. And then when you're doing your budget, when you're making a choice, when you're saying yes or no to something, run it through this filter. I'll tell people, whatever you're not good at, write your desired future on and put it there. Is it in your wallet? Is it in your car when you want to just get drive through instead of making food at home? Put it where you're not good at, and remember what you're fighting for, because you're needed. We need you on the other side of this debt, because I can't do it myself. So if you're reminding yourself what you're fighting for every single day, it makes it easier. The budget becomes more fun because it's not just I'm telling you what to do. It's you're moving towards the future that you say you want. And that's a lot more fun, a lot more exciting, a lot more needed.
That's great. So I wanted to I know you have a biweekly show. Can you tell us about that and how our listeners can connect?
Yeah, it's so much fun. I'm a big movie guy. Actually, I don't think you can see it, and I promise I read books, but I have 2 big bookshelves full of movies because I love them. And physical media forever, baby. But I love money. I love movies. And I have a great coach friend. Her name is Laura Sexton. Her and I, we both do as well. So we got together and we're like, hey, let's make a fun show out of this where we break down your favorite movies and we find the money lessons from them. So we actually, this last week, we just did Casper for Halloween. So movies of any age, old, new.
I love that.
Yeah, and we go, and then we're actually very excited this coming Friday. Let's see, what is this Friday? The 7th of November. We're going to be going live on YouTube for the first time. We had been live on Facebook, but we're putting all the episodes on YouTube. So for anybody who wants to see older episodes, you just look up Coach David Gibbs on YouTube and you'll find it on there. And then we're going to be doing live on YouTube coming this Friday. We have a big announcement for this Friday as well.
Awesome. That's great. And how can our listeners find you, David?
Oh, man. The best way is CoachDavidGibbs.com. You can find everything else from there. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, but start there. And if you want to have a chat with me, I give free discovery sessions for everything because I want to get to know you. I want you to get to know me and see if we're a good fit.
Excellent. Is there any last thing you'd like to share with our listeners before we close out?
You are needed. Remember that. I need you. I can't do it by myself. I'm tired. So let's get you right. Let's get you healthy because there's a lot of good stuff to do in the world.
Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. And I can't wait to listen to your money mashup.
All right. Awesome. I'll be looking for you.
David, thank you so much for being on with us today. What an incredible conversation with David Gibbs. His journey from debt-free to purpose-driven coach is such a powerful reminder that financial freedom isn't just about numbers. It's about clarity, confidence, and calling. If today's episode inspired you to take a closer look at money habits, career goals, or your purpose, make sure to connect with David at CoachDavidGibbs.com and follow him. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe to Pending and Trending so you never miss another conversation that helps you grow your wealth, mindset, and impact. Until next time, I'm Deidre Quinn, reminding you that together we unlock possibilities.
Thanks for tuning in to Pending and Trending. Remember, generational wealth doesn't happen by accident, it happens by action. If you like today's episode, share it with a friend, subscribe, and let's keep elevating your journey together.